Hello again, here's what we've got coming up on this episode. 5 different narrow gauge coaches to have a look at. They're all from this company called Tillig Bahn. It's not a company I've heard of before, but they have a great looking range here, and we're going to have a look at each of these in turn. So here we have the first one we're going to have a look at today. It is number 3902, and on the end of the box here you can see it says Personwagen. That means coach in English. You can see the DR for Deutsche Reichsbahn, the EP3 for Epoch 3, and also it says HOE, so this means it's HO scale and it works on N gauge track. So let's have a look inside this box and see what we've got. Quite a nice looking model. So now that we've got this out of the packaging, you can get a closer look at it. You can see straight away that it's got some nice printing on the side, these numbers at the front, and the DR for Deutsche Reichsbahn, and also some more numbers down here on the right hand side of the coach. And also what's very neat is that it has some printing here on the chassis. Even underneath these steps there's some numbers as well. That's a really nice touch. It's a fantastic looking green colour, this coach. You can see the windows are very clear. Inside there is an interior in brown, some seating represented there. You can see some distortion around the windows though. You will also see that it has some great rivet detail around the windows and down the side of the body. So the prototype is obviously a steel bodied coach. So looking at one of the ends here, there's a nice little platform with a railing and a kick down plate. Very nicely detailed door there with glazing as well, and these really delicate handrails just molded into the side here. You can also see that these really nice brackets at the top here holding the roof on. It's a really nice touch there. Getting closer to the roof you can see that there is an indication of some vents in here. And just looking underneath, there's not a lot of detail here. There's a stud or something here, I'm not quite sure what that does, and there's a hole here as well, so that doesn't seem to have anything on this model. It may have on one of the other models, we'll have to wait and see. The wheels are very free running and they're spoked as well, which is an incredible detail in such a small model. And you also have these cantilever couplings. It's a simple mechanism but it works really well, so that's really nice that it's been fitted. The detail here on the springs and the axle boxes is particularly nice. So overall this is a really nice looking coach and a nice start to what we're going to be doing today. Let's have a look at one of the other ones. So here's the second model we're going to have a look at. It's number 3951. This is slightly different. It says a combination of a Personwagen and Packwagen, so it's a coach and baggage car. Again, it's Deutsche Reichsbahn Epoch 3 and it's HOE scale. So let's have a look and see what we've got inside this box. So as before, the model is held very securely in this polystyrene tray, but it did come with some extras this time. It didn't have that on the other model. There seems to be a number of extra railings and brake parts that you can fit underneath this model if you want to, and it also had this, which I think is maybe a packing slip. Let's get this model out and have a look at it. So you can see the differences here from the coach. It's obviously this half is for people and this half is for baggage. It has similar printing on the side as the first one, very detailed here, these numbers, and the Deutsche Reichsbahn logo again, and this graphic on this side. I'm not quite sure what that means, probably indicating it's half baggage and half passenger. It also has printing down on the chassis, these numbers as well, which are very small. Looking at this end, it has the same kind of platform as the one we just had a look at, and it also has these railings and these lovely brackets at the top here. But down this end it differs, it's a lot simpler, there's no platform, and there's this large sliding door represented here, obviously for the baggage. It's glazed as well, and there is another window further down the carriage, and you can see through the windows at the front, and you can see that it has seating as well there, molded in brown. The roof is very similar to the first one. It's got the vents on it, and underneath it has some slight differences here. So obviously the most noticeable one has got these additional steps going to the baggage compartment area. It also has the passenger steps at the front, and things like the wheels and the mouldings of the springs and axle boxes looks to be the same. But this one has this extra part here. I think that's meant to represent some kind of dynamo or something running off the axle. It's quite convincing. It doesn't actually go around the axle, but it looks close enough, and you probably wouldn't notice that when it's running on the layout. So let's see the next one. Okay, here we go with the next one. It's number 3901. This time it's another Personwagen or coach, and it's got the same details as we've already seen. Let's get this out and have a look. So again, it has a packing slip here, and the model is held in this polystyrene tray very securely. I can see it's got an extra set of wheels in this one. Not quite sure why that's happened. Okay, now we've got this coach out. We can see that it's very similar to the first one. It has many of the features it has instructions as well. I don't see anything particularly different apart from the fact it has this representation of a dynamo here. I'm now thinking that the first one had a hole in the chassis for something like that here, and it's just missing. Apart from that, I don't see any difference between this and the first one, so I'm not quite sure why these two are different numbers. Maybe if you know, you could put a comment below and let me know. So we'll crack on with the next one. Okay, here we are with number 3911. This one says 2 acts, which I think is second class. So we'll open this up and we'll have a look. So this one is also held in a polystyrene tray quite securely, but it did have some extras here. This part looks like some additional handrails that you can add onto this model, and it also came with these instructions that the other three did not, and here you can see where these handrails are meant to be attached to the coach. So this one differs quite a bit from the other two. You can see it doesn't have a platform at each end, and it has this recessed doorway on both ends of the coach. There's a lot more windows here, and you can see through a bit easier to the interior. You can see there it has the seating in brown as well, and it also has the numbers PR down the side. It's slightly different at this end, it's got some different transfers. I guess this is just meaning something, perhaps a destination plate or something. I can't actually read those, they're too small for me. And it has the printing on the chassis as well, even under the steps at this end. Again, it looks as though it might have a dynamo fitted here, but this one doesn't seem to, or maybe it's just been missing. At this end you can see that it's got quite an open veranda here with some nice glazing. It's got 3 holes here, I'm not quite sure what those are for, and it has the same kind of roof as the other coaches. So overall this is quite a characterful little coach, and it goes well with the rest of them. Let's have a look at the final one, 3953. So this says Dienstwagen. No idea what that means. I think it might be a guard's van or a baggage car. Let me open this up and have a look. So this one again is in a polystyrene tray, held very well there, and we have some extras as well. We have quite an extensive amount of additional extra parts that we can fit onto this model, and we've got this instruction sheet showing you where everything goes. You can see that there's quite a lot to go on this model, and that's quite interesting and nice to have. So this looks to be a baggage car without any passenger compartment. So it's slightly different to the ones we've seen already. It does have a platform out here with railings and a door going inside, and you can see that it has the handrails. It's a very similar design to the ones we've seen. The brackets up here aren't as detailed as on the other coaches. The glazing is very nice. I don't think it's got an interior though on this one, but you can see that it has the printing of the numbers. The Deutsche Reichsbahn is a bit further down in this wagon. This one does look as though it's got a bit of a problem with its steps. They look a bit broken here. You need to put a bit of glue on them, and it also has printing on the chassis as well, very small numbers again. Underneath, this one does have a dynamo, and the cantilever coupling's the same as the others. You can see that this door is very well represented, and it's got these little tracks for the wheels to run along, which is very nicely moulded into the plastic here. And there's a lot of detail here on the catch and rivets and things like that down there. Up on the roof there's just a simple vent, and there's this little stud here which I think might actually be a moulding mark. At this end it is pretty plain. So we've got all these 5 models out of the packaging now, and they all look really cool. I think it's time we find out how much each of them weigh. The 2 similar coaches weigh 30 grams each. This one that's half coach, half baggage car is 32 grams. This second class coach is also 32 grams. And finally, the baggage car is 30 grams. So this is a great collection of coaches from Tillig Bahn. Each one has its own character and has a lot of features which you can enjoy. There's some really nice parts to each of them. They're moulded very crisply, and they've got nice clear glazing and interiors. Each of them has something different apart from the 2 coaches at the back. I couldn't spot anything different between them. This one I think is my favourite. It's the second class coach. I like the glazed part on the end of the coaches, and it really looks quite a neat looking thing. But that said, all these models have appeal, and I think as a train on your layout these would look really fantastic being pulled along. If you're modelling HOE scale, I think you should check out Tillig Bahn. It's not a manufacturer I've heard of before, but now I've seen these models I'm quite tempted to look out for them a bit more. So I would recommend these models and others from the Tillig range if you can find them, and I think you'll have a lot of enjoyment with them. So I hope you liked this video and my review of these coaches. I'll put one of them on the turntable so you can see all the way around. In the meantime, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps this channel, and you can subscribe to see other videos like this. But that's it for today. See you next time.